The newly redesigned Ahsoka Tano Disney Legacy lightsabers are finally here. Well, sort of. They're available for pre-order with some additional photos and details we didn't have before. So let's break it down. The newly redesigned set went up for pre-order on August 22nd. For the rest of August, only US Disney Plus subscribers are able to pre-order these. After August, they should be available for anyone to order. If you have a separate email address for your Shop Disney and Disney Plus, you have to log in using your Disney Plus email address and password in order to get these. On release day, they had an expected ship date of October 30th. A day later, that ship date has changed to November 24th. They haven't given any indication yet on whether those who ordered under the original date will get them in time for Halloween, or if everyone will have to wait for Black Friday. It's a mystery. On the Australian website, they were available for pre-order without the Disney Plus requirement, but there was apparently a limited stock available and they sold out quickly. And they gave September 4th as the expected ship date. Some Australian users have already received their tracking info. There are benefits to living close to where these are manufactured. No word yet on when it'll become available on the UK site. We also don't know whether or not they'll be available inside the parks. With the Ezra pre-order, they released them in the parks a few weeks before the pre-orders were shipped, with no advance notice. So there's a good chance they might do the same with these. It would be fantastic if Disney were more transparent with their rollout plan, but it is what it is. On the plus side, the pricing is lower than we had expected at $320. Most of us had estimated it would be $350 or $400 at the worst, so this is a really nice surprise. The packaging is the standard Legacy bundle design, with their premium cardboard octagonal case and magnetic closure. It has both hilts on the top layer, with both blades underneath. There's no belt clip or display stand. It's the hilts that most of us are dying to learn more about. They advertise them as being thinner than the previous model, but how much and at what cost? It's really hard to say right now. While they do list hilt dimensions on the website, the dimensions they listed for the old model are wrong, or at least they're not measuring the handle and don't make it clear what they are measuring. The lengths are correct, at 14 inches and 11 inches, but for the width and depth, they advertise 1 3/4 inches by 2 1/4 inches for the old version. In reality, the handles are 1.6 inches by 1.8 inches, so that's clearly not what they're measuring. If they're measuring the widest part of the hilt, then the 2 1/4 inches could refer to the widest portion of the thickness, from the black bulb on one side to the screw on the other side. But the only thing close to 1 3/4 inches in the other direction would be the thinnest part of the handle, and it wouldn't make any sense to measure the thickest on one side and the thinnest on the other side. So we can't really rely on the stated dimensions to tell us much. It'll remain a mystery until we get these in hand and do a side-by-side comparison. What we do know is that by their stated measurements, however they calculate that, they're making the main hilt a 1/2 inch longer and the shoto 2/3 of an inch shorter, while adding 3/4 of an inch in width and making them a 1/4 inch thinner. So that on-the-box advertisement of thinner hilts may technically be true, while still resulting in an even chonkier design than before. Mocking it up by the length of the hilt doesn't make these new ones look very good, but the photos aren't from the same angle, so hopefully this is more of an exaggerated comparison than what we'll see in reality, or at least I really hope so. As for the blades, we already knew that they would use the same type of screw-in blade connector as the Yoda saber uses. But the dimensions for the Yoda set are advertised as 1 1/4 inches wide, when in reality, the blade itself is 7/8 of an inch, and the widest part of the connector is a tad over an inch. And the Ahsoka ones are listed as 1 inch. So again, I don't think we can really trust the advertised dimensions here, enough to really know whether or not the Yoda and Ahsoka blades will be cross-compatible. I assume they'll use the same connector. Why wouldn't they? But I could be wrong. Disney has also taken measures in their toy line to intentionally make the blades from different sets incompatible with one another, so even if they are otherwise identical connectors, Disney may still play some shenanigans to make them incompatible. Time will tell. What we can be pretty certain of is that these blades will only have white LEDs in them, not color changing, just like the Yoda blade only had green LEDs, as Rusarian in Discord discovered by cracking a blade open to investigate. Now I have to address the bantha in the room. There's been a lot of speculation about whether this new screw-in blade connector could mean that a new version of Legacy Lightsabers is coming soon. I'll have a separate video soon that digs into the details and logistics of this theory, both for and against. But the short story is that if there is a conversion in the works, it's very likely a 2 to 3 year roadmap. The Yoda and Ahsoka blades would be the early beta tests of this new blade connector idea, just like the few sabers with rechargeable batteries are testing that option. So it might be an indicator of what to expect down the road, but you shouldn't get too excited about an overhaul of the whole product line anytime soon. As for the electronics, unsurprisingly, it appears that they will have the same functionality as the old set, possibly with a new sound font. The only thing we really learned from this description is that whomever usually writes the marketing material must have been out on holiday, and someone who normally writes overly detailed technical manuals decided to take a crack at it. Nobody cares what file format the sounds use, and sentences this long don't belong on a bullet list. If you can't skim it, it doesn't go on your product page. Here, Disney, I fixed it for you. My resume is available on request. So we still have at least 2 months until we get these in hand to compare them side by side. I'm going to do everything I can to get these as soon as they hit the streets. In the meantime, we'll be reviewing quite a few other options for Ahsoka sabers, which are already available. Are you holding out for the Disney version, or doubling your budget to get something fancy? Let me know in the comments and subscribe to follow along. Thanks, and may the Force be with you.